Hey, what's going on, buddy?
What's up,
I'm
man?
blessed. How can I help you out today?
Hey, thank you guys for taking the time to talk to me. That's awesome, man. I've been watching you guys for 13, 14 months now, dude.
Awesome.
Dude, this has been great stuff. I'm serious, man. This has been great stuff. I've seen a lot of the people I've been trying to put on, like, oh, you got to watch these guys. You got to watch these guys, and they've come and go. Hey, they've come and go, but we're here. You know what I mean? We're here.
Oh, yeah.
So, hey, I just real quick. I just had a deal, not really fall through. I kind of got saved by it. They wanted, 171K on it. We kind of took the number because the ARV was, 300,000. For what I saw was about a 35, 45, 55,000 in repair. So my buyers kind of liked it. It was a good, kind of good for everyone. So when I was about to write it up, she was like, oh, I want to do a week. Can you close in a week? I'm like, okay. Before we put the pen to the paper, I want to reverse engineer this. I want to talk to some people. Give me a day or two. I get the day or two. That's fine. The next morning, I talked to a buyer, and he's like, yeah, I'm your guy. And I have a bit of a relationship with him. We joke around a little bit here and there, nothing too crazy. But he actually goes to the property, and he sees, certain things that I just didn't see. Well, it came down to they had a bunch of materials in the home. She was a flipper. She was just, kind of tired landlord kind of situations coming back and forth from Houston to Kansas City. And, she was I was kind of helping her out with that. Hey, I'll take it off your hands. Let's get this headache out of here. They were actually hiding problem areas from me with the materials in the home. So the materials like the boxes, AC units and toilets and whatever, paint tubs and whatever, hiding actual problem areas with those components. So my buyer, he's a big dog. So he goes down, he moves the boxes, he goes in there and takes that stuff out. And he actually sees it. He's like, whoa. We're actually not at 35, 45, 50. We're actually at 80 now, and I was really blessed by that because I would have been stuck in the contract, then try to scramble to get out, do a mutual release and all that extra stuff that I don't want to do. You know what I mean? So I was really blessed in that situation, and that just happened yesterday. I mean, that was literally just yesterday. It was just yesterday. How would I prevent going on that? A seller actually hiding information from me. That I'm here to help. Just like you guys say, you're here to help, and we're in a situation to help. How do you get around that?
Heck, just to let you know, it happens all the time. Yeah. People just lie, and I will always give them the benefit of the doubt, but like you always, once you get stuff under contract, you got to be, I'm not going to use the word difficult, but like I'm always suspect when I see somebody rehabbing a house and they stop and all the materials are in there. There's a reason. Like you got to okay, why would they stop? They stop because they have a bigger problem. They've ran out of money and it ain't going to work out for them. Remember, they're probably going to buy it cheaper than you bought it. So everyone I see like that, I've learned, unfortunately, through experience that I just assume they're hiding something. Think about it. Why wouldn't they just finish it? It was another 30, 40 grand to finish it. Why wouldn't they just finish it and harvest the profit? So I always look at the story. I listen to the story. And then you have to visually look and you got to figure it out. Now, is this the first time you dealt with like this situation, a rehabber that ran dry on a deal?
No, this isn't. No, this is not the first situation where I've run into someone. Hey, and they're pretty upfront. Hey, I've ran out of money. This is where I'm at. We're about 80%, and I'm looking to just go ahead and just cut where I'm at and get what I can. I've ran into that before, but this one's.
I've had people do this to me before, and unfortunately, it just takes experience over time. What I used to do in the beginning is when I had very questionable houses, whenever another wholesaler was involved or a fix and flip, which used to drive me crazy, why would a fix and flip guy stop? Is I would just drag a contractor, I'd take him out to lunch, and then I would try to get him hired for the job, whoever I sold the property to. And they always, because they'd go through and rip stuff. I was scared you were going to tell me that you didn't write the contract, you found a cash buyer. He went out there and tried to steal the deal behind your back. So I'm glad that didn't happen. But whenever you see a rehabber that's quit, like find out the story and poke as many holes in it as you humanly possibly can. Here's another way you can snuff out someone like that. Although you never really have to do it. You heard of this thing like when people sell stuff on MLS, you have to give a disclosure statement on it. It scares the heck out of people. They don't want to put something in writing. So like I can't give a disclosure on a wholesaling property because I haven't lived there. I don't even own the property. But if they took title to it, we go, hey, listen, can you just fill out this disclosure agree? Like I just need to know if there's anything I need to know on the house. And most of them will decline it because it makes them very nervous. The other thing is having a contractor walk through the property, especially on something that's questionable. And now that you have this great relationship with this new buyer, he's a perfect type of person to help you out, because if he's going to be loyal to you and not go behind your back, why not have him drag him through? Because he's going to want a first shot at either buying the property or working with someone to fix it up. But this won't be the last time it ever happens to you. And when I see piles of stuff, it's bad. By the way, guys, when you have regular houses, when you have big giant area rugs, move it. It's there for a reason. Yeah. It's decorative. And once you start moving it, you look at their eyes, they're like, oh God, he's going to find it.
No, some of my first couch a hole in the wall situation. It's actually very common. I always move the couch. There's always a hole under beds, couches, usually not boxes, but beds and couches, they put strategically. One big thing I can tell you before appointments I've always seen is, those big like armoires, like those big fat like wooden things that are heavy. Look underneath it. Take a flashlight, look behind it. You'll be shocked.
It's amazing. But the main thing is, if you do wholesaling right, like you'll learn, you'll get better at it over time. But if you buy at a deep enough discount, like you can usually recover. So we had one deal, I swear, like we had this huge run in Florida on Chinese drywall. Chinese drywall. So we had a house, got a massive discount on it. And then, so we went to sell it, and they brought an inspector in because we were wholesaling it. They go, I think this has Chinese drywall. I'm like, why? The guy was a heavy smoker. And I learned recently that smoke oxidizes copper. And so it has the same signs as Chinese drywall. They're telling me, listen, you need $50,000 in repair. I'm just like, I remember looking at Zach going, do we have 50 grand in deal? He goes, oh yeah. He goes, we got a lot more. Long story short, we hired someone to go in and cut 2 holes in the drywall and certify for like $300. It wasn't Chinese drywall. But the thing is, we still had a $50,000 buffer. We still would have made 15, 20 grand, even if it had Chinese drywall. And I remember him, because I believe we were on like a family outing at the time. I just looked, he goes, are we in trouble? I'm like, no, we're fine. We'll still make money, even if it has Chinese drywall. The problem is when people contract properties and you have tiny little margins and then big problems come up, you're in big, big trouble. So always get the biggest spread you can with like the going for no. And just when you see stacks of boxes and stuff, it's usually hiding something, because if they want to cut real quick, that's typically what they're doing. What's your experience with it?
No, that's it. And just understand, I have wholesale deals with no roof on the prop. Like there's no roof. I don't care. I wholesale crack homes all the time. Why do I call it crack home? Because there's crack in the house. That's why I call it a crack house. It's not a bad term, but literally, I don't care. We've wholesaled Chinese drywall homes. As long as I know that, I'll get a Chinese drywall price. What we do is we flip properties. It doesn't mean it's not worth as much. It's just if it's in worse condition, I get a better price. Wholesaling is not about how nice the house is. It's about how much we get it under. It's how much we can buy it for, basically the price to buy it versus what it's worth. It doesn't matter. There's people out here that make millions of dollars flipping like sneakers.
Yeah.
And like, oh, but I flip boats. That makes me better than you. No, it doesn't matter what you flip. It's how much of a discount on the item you get. And so that's what it's all about.
Yeah, I know. He'll laugh, but I got into a deal where actually I flipped like a high-end boat, and I got a great deal on it. It actually came from real estate, but we found like a $40,000 problem. I'm just like sitting there scratching my head. And the mechanic's like, you're in trouble. I'm like, how much should I buy it for? I'm like, yeah, I could afford that. Like I wasn't happy, but I could afford it. Are you doing this local, Hector?
I am. I actually, I wanted to tell you something. I actually, where I'm at in Missouri, that's my market. I actually introduced wholesaling to my title company, to my town, and the next correlating town beside me. So awesome. Dude, when I started, like very, very beginning, they were like, no, there is no type of deal where we can just hold the money in an open escrow and then you just come and da da da. I'm like, well, hold on, wait a second. I think there is. So so I had to introduce the title company and actually coach them and walk them through this process. So that let me know I'm in the right place at the right time. There's no one else doing it out here.
Yeah. There's thousands of deals being done in Kansas City, Missouri. So like,
yes,
it can be done there. It can be done where you're at. Same state, same laws, same everything. Springfield, St. Louis, dude, simple, man.
Yeah, no, I'm only 30 minutes away from Kansas City, and I'm about 2 hours away from Springfield, and I've gone both places. Perfect. I've checked both places. I've actually built up a really good relationship with the other college town beside me. That's where my main true focus is at. With the code enforcement department out there. And they have been feeding me leads. Thanks to you guys, I know how to proceed and talk to them with the county assessor's office. And I've built up a relationship with them as well. And now they're giving me the code violations. Hey, how you doing, Hector? Hey, we got a problem area over here. Here's the address. Here's the phone number. And I don't even have to skip trace them sometimes because now we've built that connection. Hey, Jane, you got anything for me today? And she'll, oh, hey, Clifford, you got anything for me? It's just one of them things that, really is amazing. It's really amazing when you go out there and talk to people, what you can build. It really is. Yeah. So thank you guys. I appreciate everything you guys do. Really.
Okay,
man. Keep it up, man.
I appreciate it, Hector.
Oh,
that's awesome.
Have a good one, man. Any other questions?
Yeah. Oh, hey. Oh, actually, yeah. Really quick.
Man. There you go. Help you, dude.
Yeah, real quick. Is there? I mean, okay. So I tried jumping on the JV deals at the free wholesaling houses for real and all that. I tried doing that, but the form in there, you only got from my state. You only have up to like Kansas City. I think even Springfield on there possibly. I didn't know if I could submit anything that I get out in my area.
Yes. So you can submit it. There's a section on the bottom. It says send the deals to Flipwork Plus students. And so basically what we have is you can literally go out here and send the deals and it goes to a spreadsheet. You don't give the address. You just say, hey, I have a deal in Kansas, whatever city I'm at. Here's my phone number. And you'll probably have 4 or 5 Flipwork Plus members call you. It's your job to interview them and see, okay, is this guy or gal confident they can sell my deal and do they actually have buyers? Just because they're Flipwork Plus students doesn't mean I automatically vet them, okay? Sure. I just give them access. So I want everybody inside of Flipwork Plus to make tens of thousands a month JVing. And so you still got to interview them. It's your responsibility to make sure it's good. I'm just putting a foot in the door. And so you might get calls from John from the Bronx who wants to JV with you, and he's got no buyers, but he's inside of Flipwork Plus. No, okay? But you might get a guy in Kansas City or a gal that's done a lot of deals. For example, I know some people that are inside Flipwork Plus that do Kansas City. Probably be great for it. So, yeah.
Yeah, we're always working on that list. Like every day we go forward, we find new quality buyers. And then the idea is with the Flip with Work Plus, we try to match people up of, complementary skill sets because it just works out really well that way.
Okay. Yeah, it was I want to tell you where it's at, but at the same time, I'm kind of in a honey hole, man.
Nah, you don't. You're fine, dude.
Just be quiet.
Let's see. Rick gets it, man. Rick gets it. He's like, no, shut up.
Dude, run. All I can tell you to do is run hard and fast, Hector, but focus on a marathon run. Don't be a sprinter. Sometimes you got to pull back a little bit to get further ahead in the race because everybody wants to compare themselves to everybody else on the internet. It's just not good to do that. A marathon runner tries to beat their personal best every day. Sure. Because if you try to run a race on the guy next to you and they're sprinting and they got no shoes or socks on, they ain't going to make it. And I'm telling you, I've been here 21 years because I was never the fastest wholesaler. I was the most consistent. I played the long game. So run like crazy, but have the marathon goal in mind because, you're going to own your town and all the other towns around you because they're going to like, how did you do all this? And you're like, hey, I started this little thing wholesaling a long time ago. Rick and Zach showed it to me. And I ran. A lot of people think, here's the crazy part is every generation thinks they have it harder than every other one. So my father's generation tells me all the time. I remember my grandparents used to tell it. He tells it to me. So eventually he'll have kids. Dude, life always moves on. It doesn't matter. And I just find it so hard. I was like, it's so hard. I go, it's not. I thought it was hard in 2003. I didn't know the gift I had in front of me, but I didn't have any training or skill sets. So people like, would you rather have infinite supply and no training, or the most precise training and a lot lower supply? It's a give and take no matter which way you go. It's not easy either way you do it. So I love with what you're doing. Just keep going and think marathon and keep sprinting as long as you can. But at some point, get some nice running shoes and keep going, because in the beginning, I teach you guys, get deals. Don't spend a lot of money. Learn how to work with sellers, figure out all the problems. And then when you want to start investing in your business towards getting automated leads, mail and all the other things, that's how you win the marathon in the long run. So the sprint will start you. Don't be the guy who dies off on the sprint race, because there's more sprinters than there are marathon runners in wholesaling.
I agree.
Sure.